Good morning, and welcome back to the Functional Male. Today's practice will be dedicated to the virtue of appreciation. As the calendar flips pages and we go into the fall season, a perfect time to start focusing our attention on the virtue of appreciation for everything we've been through, for everything we have right now, and for where we're going. So to get started with me, land on your mat in your tabletop on all fours. You're going to take a gentle wrist warm-up, going clockwise, circling your shoulders around your wrists. My wrists are feeling especially tight today, so it's always good to take this moment. Just give them some love. You can go counterclockwise. Yeah, yesterday was the fall equinox, and depending on where you are in the world, definitely the first day that felt like fall for us up here in northern Canada. Probably have to start filming videos inside soon, but we're going to maximize the outdoors while we have it. Sit back onto your heels, roll out your wrists, and release your fingers together. Interlace your fingers, flip your palms towards the sky, reaching, bending over to the right, breathing into your left lung. Reaching back through center, bending over to the left, breathing into your right lung. Back up through center, hinging at your hips, folding forward into a child's pose. Forehead rests on the mat. You can roll your forehead from left to right, massaging out your eyebrow line, while we give our wrist a little moment to recalibrate. And again, I invite you to contemplate the virtue of appreciation. Appreciation fuels love. Appreciation lets people know we see the virtues in them. Pull yourself forward through tabletop. Taking some cat and cows, drop your belly. Arc the heart forward on the inhale. Exhale, arch the spine, tuck the tailbone, a lot of push in the upper body. And flow with your breath, linking it to your movement. I used to hate winter and the seasons in general. But as I've matured, I realized that everything exists for a reason, and the cycles of the season emulate the cycles of life. We just get to experience a little bit of it every single year. Because if you think about it, spring, something is born anew. Summer, reaching a peak. Fall, pause and reflection, things slowly dying or hibernating into the winter. And winter is death in many ways. If you were to look at that cycle as one person's full lifetime, winter is the old age. Tuck your toes under, send your hips up high, take your downward facing dog. Begin to walk out your dog here, sinking one heel at a time. So we get to experience these cycles annually that replicate our own lifetime. How many you get, that varies. Some people only get 63 years or cycles. Some people 80 or more. I have a great aunt in Switzerland who just turned 99. Find stillness. Ripple forward into your plank. Hold your plank for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shift your weight forward. Halfway down. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Come back through tabletop, landing your knees on the mat. Sweeping your right foot outside the edge of your mat. Left foot parallel with the back of your mat. Left hand goes up high. Modified side plank. Breathing. Shoulders are relaxed. Right hand is firmly pressed into the mat. So these cycles emulate our own existence. So fascinating when you can come to that level of appreciation. So if we're in the fall, we're at the age of maturity for the season. What is in us that is dying going into the winter? Left hand lands back on the mat. Bring your feet back through table. Sweep your left foot outside the edge. Reach your right hand up high as you plant your right foot behind you. With fall time comes a certain level of sadness. Whether you feel it or admit it or not, a lot happened throughout the summer, spring and summer, to where you are now. Right hand comes back down. Come through tabletop. Sweep your right foot out again. Modified side plank. Left hand goes up high. This time reaching your left hand forward. And then down. Inhale, back up. Exhale. Cycle through this one more time. Because it's not only the change of seasons that's sad. Hold the top. Windmill yourself over into a gate pose to the left. Left hand reaching for your left calf. Right hand going over top. Pelvis push forward. Gaze can go up. Breathing into your right lung. It's not only the season that's changing. Parts of you that no longer serve you are dying. This is the constant unfolding, the constant unraveling of life itself. It's so beautiful, yet excruciating at times as well, isn't it? But that's what makes it worthwhile, is the impermanence. Windmill your right hand back down, followed by your left. Keeping your right knee firmly planted on the mat, tucking your left toes under, stretch out your left calf. Breathe. Left knee meets your right. Not sure if you can hear the wind chimes behind me, but if you can, aren't they beautiful? Sweeping your left foot out this time, reaching your right hand up high, modified side plank, then reaching your right hand over your head. Exhale all the way down, inhale, reaching. Cycle through 2 more times. Opening up those shoulders, holding at the top, Windmill your right hand down to your right calf, gate pose to the right. Pelvis push forward, left hand reaching over. Breathing into your left lung. I don't know about you guys, but I've been taking a lot of time to journal and reflect over the past year. Because even though it's only fall and there's still 3 more months in the year, a full quarter, it feels like the year is over. Windmill your hand back down. Keep your left knee planted. Tuck your right toes under. Stretch out your right calf. At least the most exciting peaks of the year from all the busyness of summer are over. And it's nice. It's nice to be able to reflect on how accomplished you feel. Not necessarily only from work, but also from the relationships you developed, the things that you did, the moments you stepped out of your comfort zone, the moments you said yes, the moments you acted with virtue throughout your year so far, which is not over. It's something I keep reminding myself too. It's just fall time. Bring your right knee back through center. Tucking your toes under, send your hips up high. Walk your hands back to meet your feet. Hanging out in this forward fold. Stretching your hamstrings. Sinking a little deeper with every exhale. What are you letting go of? What's rolling off your back in order to free yourself right now? Inhale, halfway lift. Fold. Halfway lift, find your flat back as if you were looking over a cliff. Fold. Slight bend in the knees, reach your hands all the way up. Bring it home, hands to heart center. Firmly planting your left foot into the mat. Drive your right knee up high. Left hand lands on your right thigh. Right hand reaches behind you. Hopefully you don't have windows behind you and you can actually reach your right hand, but we're twisting open to the right. Sweep your right hand down and up to meet your left, coming back through center. Knees still up high. Landing halfway up your mat. Left foot behind you firmly plants. Toes kick out, slight angle. This is your warrior one. You can wiggle your right foot up a little bit higher if you need to. You want to be opening up your left hip flexor here while your left foot is firmly planted. Left leg is perfectly straight. Hands are high, shoulders are relaxed. Warrior one. Bring your hands to your lower back, interlace your fingers. Push your hands down, opening up your heart and shoulders. On the exhale, bow forward on the inside edge of your right knee, humble warrior. We feel a sense of humility with the change of seasons going into the fall time, especially knowing that you're going to be dealing with what could be a potentially brutal winter. There is a humbling aspect to nature itself. It's built into the video game, like the cycles. Nothing was without reason. I don't recall where I read this, but it said if you're at a theater watching a play, Breathe through your humble warrior. And then there is a rifle on the wall in a scene. At some point, that rifle must be used later, otherwise it would not be there. Inhale, come back up. Release your hands. Coming up through center. Hands land on the front of your mat, kicking off into an L shape. Left heel reaching for the wall behind you, finding some length in your spine. Bring your left foot to meet your right. Fold. Halfway lift. Fold. Slide into the knees, reach your hands all the way up. Bring it home, hands to heart center. If there's a rifle on the wall in scene 1, it must be used at some point later. Otherwise it would not be there. Everything exists for a reason. As hard as it can be to understand why at times, that's where we ground ourselves with virtues. Virtues of appreciation. Acknowledging that it does exist for a reason, and appreciating it for what it is. Sweep your hands down and up. Hinge at your hips, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Fold. Halfway lift. Fold. Slide bend in the knees, reach your hands all the way up again. Bring it home, hands to heart center. Firmly planting your right foot into the mat. Drive up your left knee. Right hand, left knee. Left hand reaches behind you. Standing twist. Yeah, it's a test of balance. Sweep your left hand down and back up to meet your right. Stepping back this time. Warrior 1. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Humble warrior. Inside that right knee once again. Feeling appreciation. Feeling humility. Again, the point of this channel at this point is to discuss virtues. Because as one of the yoga teachers I have, we concluded together in our conversation that, come back up through center, reach your hands all the way back up, come down through runner's lunge, step back, high plank, hold the plank, that in order to act properly throughout the world, our heart and our mind need to be linked in all of our decision-making process. How do we do that, though? Shift your weight forward, lower down, take your flow. Downward facing dog. This time walking your hands all the way to the back of your mat. Halfway lift. Fold. Slide bend in the knees, reach your hands all the way up. Bring it home. Hands to heart center. Again, firmly planting your right foot into the mat. Drive up your left knee. Right hand, left knee. Left hand reaches behind you. So how do we act in the world if we want our heart and our mind to be aligned? I'll give you the answer. It's virtues. The virtues are God's qualities made manifest, as one of my coaches, JD, would say. That's the only action to take. It's virtue. Because it not only appeases the self, you, also your highest self, the Krishna in you, the God in you. Sweep your left hand down and up. And then take a step halfway up your mat at least. Right foot behind you. Perfectly flat, opening up roughly 45 degrees. Warrior 1. Now we're getting into that right thigh and hip flexor. Bring your hands down behind you. Interlace your fingers on your lower back. Open your heart. Fold forward, humble warrior, inside your left knee. Inhaling up through center. Releasing your fingers gently. Hands come up high. Warrior 1. Float your hands all the way back down, kicking off L shape. Right heel reaching for the back of the room. Finding some length in your back and spine. Right foot meets left. Take an inhale, halfway lift. Fold. Slipping in the knees, reach your hands all the way up. Bring it home. Hands to heart center. Give yourself a moment here. Bring yourself to baseline. Because that is the practice of yoga, no matter what is happening around you. How quickly can you relax? Can you feel into what is happening without being overwhelmed by nervous or frantic energy or stress, emotions? Reach your hands all the way back up. Bring it home, hands to heart center. Firmly planting your right foot into the mat. Left foot this time. Driving up your right knee. Left hand reaches for your right knee. Right hand reaches behind you. And whatever goes on in your life or is going on at the moment, my main point here is just for you to take some time. The fall is encouraging us to slow down a little bit. Again, if we're comparing it to the cycles of our life, of age, fall season might be in our 50s, let's say, where we're starting to slow down and reflect. Maybe even our 40s. So give yourself this time. Go for a walk in nature. Sweep your right hand down and up to meet your left. Stepping back. Warrior 1. Again, opening up that right hip flexor this time. Bring your hands down behind your lower back and release your fingers the opposite way. Open your heart. Pushing your hands to the mat and then hinging forward. Humble warrior. Appreciation and humility. Two virtues that are hard to beat. And we're all very, very far from perfect. But if we're here seeking improvement, coming onto our mat in order to become the right actor so that we can make the right choices. Always having virtue in mind, you will be guided by some form of light, some higher being, whatever that is to you. Inhale up through center, releasing your fingers gently, hands go up high, warrior one. Hinge forward, take a runner's lunge, step back, high plank, hold. You appreciate the change that you've just gone through on your mat thus far. Hold your plank, push in your upper back, internally rotate your elbows. On your next inhale, shift your weight forward, lower down, chaturanga, halfway push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Lower down onto your knees, flaring them out wide. Take a child's pose. Similar to where we started. You can roll out your eyebrow line, rocking your head left to right. Giving all of your weight to the earth below you. I will read to you the definition of appreciation on this from the Virtue Project. I've mentioned before they make a full deck of cards, 100 different virtues. It's a non-for-profit. I get nothing for this, but highly recommend, and you'll see why. Continue deepening your breathing as you give all of your weight to the earth below you, bringing yourself back to baseline. Appreciation is seeing the good in life. It is recognizing the gifts that come our way and showing gratitude for them. When we express appreciation to others, we mirror the virtues we see in them. We perceive their positive intentions and honor them with our gratitude. Love thrives on appreciation. Intimacy grows deeper, and we know we are seen and valued. As we do the spiritual work life calls us to, it is important to appreciate our own efforts and to acknowledge our progress. We don't dwell on the unpleasant things of life. We value the learning even in the painful times. Drinking deeply the beauty and pleasures life offers, we don't waste a single day. Thank you so much for joining me in practice today. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the fall season and day ahead of you. Namaste.